Now, amid a massive reshuffle in the United Kingdom, former UK Prime Minister David Cameron is set to return as Foreign Secretary. David Cameron has been appointed with seat in House of Lords. Now, for more on this, we are being joined by Andrew Whitehead to decode this latest development further. He's a historian and author. Andrew, welcome to the broadcast. Mr. Whitehead, I want to start off with the latest that we are seeing. David Cameron is going to set foot in politics yet again. How are you assessing this latest development?
This is a huge surprise. We've only found out in the last 2 or 3 minutes. So David Cameron, who was Conservative Prime Minister for 5 years but stood down after the Brexit referendum in 2016, he's coming back to politics. He's going to be the new Foreign Secretary. He's not even a Member of Parliament. So Rishi Sunak is doing something really quite surprising. He is appointing David Cameron to the House of Lords, and David Cameron is going to be Foreign Secretary from the House of Lords rather than the House of Commons. This is strikingly unusual in British politics. I can't remember the last time when a very senior figure in government was a member of the House of Lords rather than the elected House of Commons. And of course, bringing back an old leader, some would say an old and failed leader. After all, he resigned in disappointment and really disgrace to some extent after losing the Brexit referendum, is not what you expect in politics. So on all sorts of levels, a real shock here.
Absolutely, and my next question might be a tricky ask, but do you think this kind of, as you call it, like a big step and an unexpected step is going to work out for Rishi Sunak in the 2025 general elections?
Well, it is a big question. So what has happened is he's also sacked his Home Secretary. So Rishi Sunak has sacked Suella Braverman for a breach of discipline in comments she made, which basically undermined confidence in the police. So he had to do quite a big reshuffle. And what he's trying to do is to get a top team in place in the run-up to a general election, which we expect, we haven't got the exact date, but we expect in about a year's time. So far, Rishi Sunak has been leader of the Conservative Party and Prime Minister for a year, just over a year, and he hasn't managed to close the gap in the opinion polls. All the opinion polls suggest the Labour Party has a commanding lead. I think it's going to be a big ask for him, even with a new-look Foreign Secretary, to be able to lead the Conservatives to a 5th successive election victory. I think what he's trying to do is to stop the party falling apart so that even if they do lose the next election, they may be able to bounce back sometime after that.
Right. Mr. Whitehead, speaking of Suella Braverman, there was a lot of pressure indeed on Rishi Sunak, the UK Prime Minister, to sack her because of her controversial comments. How do you think the people of United Kingdom are going to see this?
I think they will see this as the Prime Minister exerting his authority. Suella Braverman had clearly breached cabinet discipline by saying really quite incendiary comments, not simply about policing, but also about illegal migrants, about the homeless, which have really shocked a lot of people. She's quite well regarded among the Conservative rank and file. She's not very well regarded among the public at large. So I think a lot of people, members of the public, will think, good for Rishi, he's putting his foot down. Whether the Conservative Party loyalists will think that, we're not quite so sure.
Right. Before I let you go, Mr. Whitehead, do you think Suella Braverman has become the first foreign casualty of the Israel-Gaza war?
Well, in some ways she has, but really she almost wants to become a casualty because she's now really campaigning for her next job. She stood once for leader of the Conservative Party. If Rishi Sunak loses the next election, he won't be Prime Minister, but he'll almost certainly stand down as Conservative Party leader. Defeated Prime Ministers usually do step back from party leadership fairly quickly. Suella Braverman will then stand as the candidate of the Conservative Party right wing, which has a lot of support among the rank and file whose votes matter. So I think we'll be hearing quite a lot more of Suella Braverman in the months and years ahead. She's only 43, so she's got a long way to go in politics as well.
Absolutely, and David Cameron is leading that way. All right, Mr. Whitehead, thank you so much for speaking with us, and as always, it was a pleasure.